Hey guys, Kaylin at Old Mill Farm. I've got to start some eggplants and some tomatoes, and I'm using the pellets, and I know a few of you ordered the pellets, and based on when you order them, they'll probably be at your house the next few days. I thought I'd show you how to rehydrate them because they're kind of a pain in the butt the first time you try to get them wet. But I'm going to turn the phone around, and it is going to be shaky as I plant everything and show you how to hydrate it and all that good stuff, but I'll do the best I can. Okay, these are the ones I order. And this is what they look like when they first get to you. And I ordered them in a big giant box just because I use a whole bunch of them. And I think the box I order has 1,000 in them, but you don't have to order that many if you don't need that many. And you can actually see, even though these are dry, they had started to draw moisture in the garage where they were stored. But this is what they look like when they first come. And this is just a Rubbermaid little shoebox kind of thing. I actually bought a whole bunch of those at Goodwill year before last, and I think I bought like 40 of them for like $3 or $4. So those are good when I'm only starting a few, and this is when I'm going to start the eggplant in. And then these are the ones that I've already hydrated, and I'm going to start my tomatoes in them. And this is actually, I ordered these trays in bulk too on Amazon, and that's all I've got left of them so far. The first year I used them, I only used one tray, but the second year I double them up because after that first year they start to get a little flimsy. First year they're pretty good. You just have to be careful how you pick them up because the pellets, once they're wet, actually do weigh quite a bit. And you don't have to stagger them in the tray like I do, but if you don't stagger them, like every row is going to hold 5, but if you would do 5 and then start it on here instead of at that end, you end up with, I think, 2 less rows, and I'm trying to squeeze as many in as possible. And this holds 70 of these pellets once they've been rehydrated. And then here's how to rehydrate them. They are really, really dry when you first get them, and they're made out of the coconut stuff. And if you've ever dealt with it before, then you know that it's not easy to get it wet. And so what I actually do is I put them in however I want them and dump hot water in. I found that they hydrate faster with hot water. And then in the big tray, what I'll do is actually place them exactly how I want them before they start swelling up. But in this, since I'm only planting a few, I'm going to let them just soak. And as it sits there, it will soak all that up. And so you're better to do this if you know you want to plant in like 2 or 3 days. Go ahead and do this a few days in advance because it really takes a long time. So I'm actually, you see, I mean, there's a good bit of water in there. I'm going to set them aside and let them start soaking up that water. And then I'm going to show you exactly how I plant these. Okay, I'm using seeds I got from Mary's Heirloom Seeds. I love Mary's seeds. The germination rate is amazing. And there are 25 of these tomato seeds in here. And I don't double plant. So I will literally dump the seeds in a bowl, because with her seeds, the germination rate is so good that I don't see any sense in doubling up and wasting seeds. And then all I do is take 1 seed per pod and just drop it in. I don't cover them, I don't do anything else, just drop it in. And the reason I do that is because then once they actually start to germinate, I can see that. And actually, I'll try not to make you sick, but I'm going to go to a tray that's already been germinating. So you can see here, I can actually see, because I don't cover the seed, I can see which ones are germinating and which have not. And if I chose, in a couple days, now these actually I can see that they're starting to, they just haven't started yet. But in a couple days, if I chose, I could just pull out that seed for whatever reason didn't germinate and put a fresh seed in and increase my chances of having this pod work. Whereas if I put dirt in, I'd have to watch for days and days and days and wait on it. With this, I can literally see as it starts to sprout. Let's see. This little guy, I don't know if you can see down in there. That little guy's just barely starting to sprout. And so if I couldn't see it, I might be wondering for a few days, especially since I've already got like these guys that have already, you know, very clearly started to come up. I might worry that those other ones weren't sprouting. So by doing it this way, not covering them, I can actually see what's sprouting and what's not. The only thing you have to worry about when you do it this way is when you water, you can't just dump your water on top, because the little seeds that are just barely starting to sprout can pop right out. So what you have to do when you water, if you're doing it this way, is you have to come up to like one of these corners, preferably one of the empty corners, and very slowly dump your water and let it filter all the way through. And you can lift your tray whichever way you need to get everybody wet. But that way I can see what's going on. I know who's germinating and who's not, and it actually saves me seeds and saves me time and lets me not really waste. And so I'll take these and I'll actually count out. I like to do it in even groups of 5. So if there's exactly 25 seeds in here, I would only plant 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. These rows with this kind of tomato, and I would mark up here on the wall what kind they are. If there's 30, I'll do an extra row, and then I'll do a new set of tomatoes and write what it is, and that way I'm using my space the best I can. And then I'll save anything that if let's say I had 28 seeds, I'd save, the last 3 seeds to maybe replace if something didn't germinate. Here's the pellets that I was already soaking, and you can see how much they're starting to soak up the water, but you can also see how long it's taking. I mean, this has been sitting in hot water and it's nowhere near how big it needs to be. I mean, this one is fairly wet, and you can see the size difference. So I mean, you really want to let these set for a few days, and just keep adding water so that they're soaking up more and more and more. And I like to let them set till I don't see any more water being sucked up. So like, once they look full size, as long as there's just a tiny little bit of water left in here, I know they've soaked up everything they can, and then I'll be ready to plant in them. But I mean, that's basically it. There's really no sense in overseeding them, because then you're just going to have to pick out extra seeds. And if you get them from somewhere, like I said, like Mary's seeds, I'm telling you, some years I've had 100% germination out of her seeds, so there is literally no reason to waste seeds and double plant, and you don't have to thin that way. But if you do it that way, you can look down inside and you'll be able to see when the seed actually starts to germinate or when it's not, and know if you need to replace it or not. So good luck. If you guys who got the pods have any trouble or anything like that, holler at me and I'll give you whatever advice I can. But happy planting, you all. Bye.